where you scream to watch that, watch this, and I'll dive down through this hairy flesh.
Hi, I'm CJ Johnson. Welcome to Watch This. I've got a review today of Kingsman, The Golden Circle. Just before I get to that review, if you like this episode, please share it. Watch This is part of the stable of shows produced by Skippy TV at Fox Studios in Sydney, Australia. At the moment, they show no advertisements. So the way that you can support the free content you're getting is by sharing us around. You like movies because you're watching this. You have friends who like movies. Copy the link to this episode of Watch This and send it to your friends. Then they'll enjoy the same stuff you're enjoying now, which is my review of Kingsman, The Golden Circle. John Denver's Annie's song was used very prominently in this year's Free Fire and Okja. His song Take Me Home Country Roads was used very prominently in Alien Covenant and Logan Lucky. Now, Kingsman The Golden Circle uses both songs very prominently. Channing Tatum was in Logan Lucky and is now in Kingsman The Golden Circle. Coincidence? I don't think so. I think Matthew Vaughn, director and co-writer of Kingsman The Golden Circle, is having a sly joke, and it's perfectly in keeping with the tone of his unexpectedly mega successful Bond parodic action franchise. I wasn't a fan of the first installment, Kingsman The Secret Service, in 2014. At the time I wrote in my review, there's a lot of Spitfire razzle-dazzle, but barely any wit, panache, or charm in this huge, bloated misfire of a movie that sits like a spew stain on the impeccable jacket of Colin Firth's body of work. My main issue with that film essentially goes uncorrected here. The dialogue is simply unfunny, but thinks it's funny, making everyone, cast and audience, uncomfortable. But the tone, and especially the imagery this time around, is much more fun. It may not be funny, but it's cheeky, and every single shot is bright, crisp, colourful, wittily designed, and gorgeous to look at. It's an action movie that's actually easy on the eyes. There is also a villainous plot, which doesn't get going until an hour and 15 minutes into the film, mind you, which wouldn't actually be too horribly out of place in an actual James Bond movie. The world's most powerful drug lord, Poppy Adams, Julianne Moore, taints her product with a nasty virus that infects all users worldwide, hundreds of millions of them, and sends them into paralysis with death imminently promised unless they legalize all recreational drugs worldwide, in which case she will release an antidote. It's a nifty idea, and actually engenders a series of even niftier twists. And Poppy's lair, a clearing in a South American jungle in which she has built a tiny replica of 1950s Americana, is very neat, killer robot dogs and all. Killer robot dogs, you say? Really? Yes. This is a movie that is stuffed with stuff. It's crazy long, 2 hours and 21 minutes, which is about the average running time of the Daniel Craig actual Bond films, and there are so many action set pieces that I certainly can't remember them all, and I've just seen the film. It's so long and there is so much stuff in it that the first hour or so becomes instantly forgettable, and when one major actor re-enters the film in the final act, it's a jolt because you'd forgotten they were in it in the first place. Like chocolate cake with chocolate sauce and chocolate ice cream on a chocolate plate, it's yummy and gets your serotonin pumping, but also is just too much. But this is a first world complaint. Too much chocolate? When people tell me the Oscars are running too long, I tell them to fuck off. It's once a year. I want a lot of Oscars. If you don't like them, don't watch them. So maybe too much Kingsman is a good thing. Part of the film's shtick is that there's just so much of it. It's the relatively charming, incredibly well-designed, friendly action comedy that keeps on giving. This really is a film that you can feel comfortable going to the bathroom when you need to, because in the extremely grand scale of things, you can't have really missed anything because there's so much more to come. Taron Egerton returns as Eggsy, the young, likely lad recruited into the British private secret service Kingsman by Colin Firth's Harry Hart in the first film. Harry was killed off pretty decisively in that one, shot through the eye by Samuel L. Jackson, which usually means you're kaput, but he's rather miraculously resurrected here, which of course instantly forfeits from the movie any rights to making us worry about anyone. When you bring back a dead character because the audience wants the actor back, there aren't high stakes, just big paychecks and theoretically big returns. I suspect this installment is going to be a massive box office hit. Firth looks almost as uncomfortable as he did in the first one, and his character is very strangely written. There is one major decision he makes, vital to the course of events, that still has me scratching my head. Egerton is more enjoyable than he was in the original, mainly because here he's in the suit more and in his hood clothes less. He was really, really hard to swallow as the cap-wearing lager lad in the origin story. Moore makes the best meal possible out of every one of her lines, and if those lines had actually been witty, we may have had, at least in Poppy, a very memorable villain. The movie's star performance is from Mark Strong, whose character Merlin operates as the Q figure of the franchise, the gadgets guy, the tech wizard. Strong has been playing both tough guys and parodies of tough guys for a while now. His secret agent in Sacha Baron Cohen's criminally underseen Grimsby was an absolute hoot. And here, he kind of does both, bringing in every scene he's in some tonal coherence to the movie. His final scene is truly wonderful. It would have worked with perhaps a 10% alteration in performance in a real Bond film, which is the vibe the whole movie, the whole franchise, should aspire to.
Welcome to Statesman.
As your American cousins, we'll be working side by side.
That's Kingsman, The Golden Circle, and it's out in cinemas worldwide right now. You've been watching Watch This with CJ Johnson.